Another episode of the Blackhawks Hockey Central podcast. I'm Joe Vitali, and that's Skoks. Today we're going to be talking about Conor Bedard, of course, because he signed his ELC today. We're also going to give you a nice little preview of the Central Division, see where the Blackhawks may stack up in the list of the teams. Funny thing right off the hop, I totally forgot with the addition of Seattle that the Arizona Coyotes moved to the Central. I find that pretty funny. So yeah, as I mentioned off the top, Conor Bedard signed his ELC today because he turned 18 years old, which you have to be 18 to sign that contract. It's the max deal, and it's going to make him almost $15 million for these 3 years. So here's how it breaks down according to Cap Friendly. Cap hit 950K. The AAV, average annual value, is 4.450 million, with 3.5 of that being performance bonuses. He got $95,000 as a signing bonus, and his base salary is $855,000. Yeah, and then it does say minor salary will be 82,500, but he ain't touching that. So,
Right.
don't even really need to mention it. So yeah, I mean, you can call me Joe Stradamus or
Yeah.
Stradamus,
Called it last
because we
video.
called it
Yeah.
last video exactly. He's turning 18. He's signing his ELC. It's going to be for max money because that's what he's worth. And really, really exciting. The excitement is building. You can just see it all over the Twitter sphere. Hashtag Blackhawks is actually trending right now on Twitter, obviously because of our boy Bedard. So I'm really, really excited. I saw Barstool Chief. He was tweeting out that he wants October to come right now. So and
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with him. Really, really excited to see what he's got in store for us and what this team has in store for us.
Yeah, man. It's official now, and there's no more questions about this. Just haters bringing up the Lindros thing. He's not going to sign.
I love it.
That's out of the door, man. Let's get this rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so funny. Oh, he's gonna Lindros it. He's gonna refuse to play. Yada
Mhm.
yada. It's like
No.
Cartman in South Park. He's
Yeah.
like, oh yes, the tears of unsufferable sadness.
Exactly.
Yummy. So yeah, I mean, no, that's not gonna happen
Nope.
because any deal that a team would give us,
Mhm.
give the Blackhawks, would not be worth it for them. Like
Nope.
if say like Vancouver was like, hey, we want Connor Bedard, he's a Vancouver kid.
Mhm.
You're talking Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, Thatcher Demko.
Mhm.
I mean, plus plus. You're probably looking at a couple first rounders as well, and that
Right.
makes literally no sense for Vancouver. So,
Nope.
uh, so the contract is done. Pen has been put to paper,
Mhm.
and Connor Bedard is officially a Chicago Blackhawk. You love to see it.
Mhm.
Now, as for the central scouting report, I'll just go in alphabetical order. So we'll
Yeah.
start out with the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah. Perfect.
I just pulled up their cap friendly here. So they've got 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies. So
Mhm.
the roster is set. They haven't re-signed their 2 RFAs. One of them, Jack McBain, who
Mhm.
was gotten from Minnesota, I want to say,
Mhm.
and 23 years old, and center left wing.
Mhm.
Last year for the Yotes, um, 82 games played, 26 points. So fourth line guy.
Mhm.
As far as if I remember correctly, he's like kind of a hard nosed player. Plays the body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He has the size. He's 6'3", like 200 pounds, and he's
yeah.
only 23, man. So he has some speed there. He has some time to really grow in that like bottom six role. Yeah.
For sure. And, you can think of him as like, people like Blackhawks players with 26 points around there, like
Hmm.
Philip Kurashev. He got that many points.
Right.
Corey Perry and Nick Foligno both had about that many points last season as well. So, perfect fourth line depth guy.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think they're going to be too good, to be honest.
No. No.
I think the Yotes, they signed a bunch of players like
Hmm.
who are legitimate NHLers, and I'm just a little confused as to why they're doing it right now. So
Hmm.
they've been bottoming out for a while, and they've got a
Hmm.
lot of prospects, a lot of picks, and they're you know they're going to be scary, I think, in the next like 3 years.
Hmm.
But like as of right now, they've got Jason Zucker,
Hmm.
Alexander Kerfoot, let's see here, Zach Sanford,
Right.
those types of guys that are
Hmm.
like vets, but also like when you're talking like a little bit of
Hmm.
almost like a tweener. And
Right.
they traded for Sean Dursey, which was awesome.
Hmm.
Really great move. I think it only cost them a third rounder.
Yep.
Uh,
Hmm.
could have been a second too, but like I mean, even if it was a second for Sean Dursey, he's a top four defenseman.
Hmm.
Really, really smart play by them.
Yeah, and they also brought back Troy Stetcher, Valimaki. They had last year, I believe. They brought him in towards the
Yes.
second half of the season, I think. But not great depth on their back end, but a few quality names, and um, when they bring up some younger kids, that's really going to help out having those vets there.
Oh, they also have Travis Dermott, but he is injured at the moment.
Yep, yep,
He's
he is.
he's a good. I think he's an NHLer.
Hmm.
For whatever reason, coaches don't really trust him.
Really.
Uh, you know, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he might make some boneheaded moves here and there, but I feel like he's an NHLer for sure,
Hmm.
bottom pairing type guy, easy. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
so I would reckon them maybe somewhere near the Hawks, probably plus or
yeah.
minus three of the Hawks.
Hmm.
More likely minus. So you're
Hmm.
probably looking bottom 10 in the league.
I agree. Yeah, they did bring in some veteran help, but in in this division, I think the Hawks have improved, drastically since last season. Just bringing in a few guys and bringing up some of our young talent. I I think we could jump one or two spots in the division here, especially at the bottom. Yeah.
For sure. And
Hmm.
then next would be the Blackhawks, but we already know about all about them because we've
Yep.
been keeping you guys informed. So now we're going to move on to the Colorado Avalanche. So right now they have, as it stands, 11 forwards,
Hmm.
7 defensemen, 2 goaltenders, and I want to say they have $2.8 million of cap space
Hmm.
with Gabriel Landeskog on the LTIR. Unfortunately, that's probably LTI retirement. I don't
Really.
believe he's going to be back ever to play competitive hockey,
Hmm.
which is a huge loss.
Yeah.
I really like Landeskog's game. He's their captain, so he's a very skilled guy. And I
Hmm.
remember I was on Reddit, and there were Reddit NHL was talking about who are some guys that fight but aren't technically fighters.
Hmm.
And I decided I was going to submit Gabriel Landeskog because he could chuck them.
Hmm.
And so he's a really, really entertaining player to watch.
Hmm.
To tie this into the Chicagoland area, the Chicago Bulls are going through this right now
Yep.
with Lonzo Ball.
Hmm.
So Ball and Landeskog had the same exact surgery,
Hmm.
cartilage replacement in that knee. Um, Luckily, in the NBA, you can file for that disabled player
Hmm.
contract and get that off the books. So, maybe look for the next CBA for the NHL to incorporate something like that. They
Mhm.
love to take parts from the NBA, as Gary Bettman was once part of the NBA
Mhm.
brass.
Y-
So looking at them, they've got this is the Colorado Avalanche.
Mhm.
You know, nothing's really changed except for they got Ryan Johansson on the low at two
Mhm.
years, $4 million um, in that trade, that pure salary dump for
Yeah.
Alex Galchenyuk to the Nashville Predators. They got him to retain 50%.
Mhm.
Um, now that I'm looking at this, there actually is a lot of turnover. So you got,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Just a few names. We talked about that Ross Colton trade not too long ago. They brought him in, and I believe they signed him today, or
yes,
what was it
today I
yesterday?
think a 4x4.
Yeah, yeah. So good for Colton there.
Yeah,
26 years old, and they lock him up for a couple years there on a
yeah,
decent deal.
Stanley Cup champion. Yeah, four
Yeah.
4 million for like your third line center.
Mhm.
Maybe he wants to play up. He can play second line wing.
Mhm.
Easy peas.
Right.
You got Miles Wood. They signed him to like a 6-year contract at $2.5 million, which
Yeah.
a little bit of a head scratcher, especially the way Miles Wood plays.
Mhm.
But hey, it's the Abs. They just won a cup. They know what they're doing.
Mhm.
And they got Jonathan Drouin on the low,
Right.
825.
Mhm.
He's a skilled player, and that's uh, looking back to the Halifax Mooseheads days with
Mhm.
that top line, which would have been Martin Firk, Nathan McKinnon, and Jonathan Drouin. So, I
Right.
mean, maybe they can get some junior magic back in there.
Mhm. Drew in is sort of like a I think of it as like a low risk signing, right? Because he's been in and out the last few years here, right? And hey, if he could stay healthy, and if he's in a healthy state, right?
Exactly.
Because I believe he has some issues going on the last few years, yeah. But if he could stay in the lineup, he's a fun player to watch, and he could really help out in the top six there for them.
Yeah, he was like such a highly touted prospect coming out of Halifax,
Yeah,
and then
right.
so he was on the Tampa Bay Lightning. He felt like he was not getting, he was getting the short end of the stick. He
Hmm.
thought he should be playing more, wanted to trade, went back home to the Montreal Canadiens, and then
Hmm.
I think it was just the pressure of being a French player in the biggest market, maybe in the NHL in
Yep.
Quebec, in Montreal. And, but I think he's doing well right now. And I
Hmm.
think, I mean, hey, you surround him with the players like the likes of the Colorado Avalanche. I think you're going to be A-OK.
Yeah. Um, and one more interesting name on the back end here. I didn't know that they acquired him somehow. Ryan Merkley. He's only 22 years old, but he was from the San Jose Sharks, I believe. Pretty skilled defenseman. He's 5'11", 6 foot, right-handed, has really good speed. So that's someone that if he fits their system well, I think he can contribute for their defense there. Ryan
No,
Merkley.
no doubt.
Hmm.
I mean, he's 22 years old, right defenseman,
Hmm.
shoots
Right.
right.
Hmm.
I mean, this guy I want to say he got drafted, yeah, 21st overall.
Yep. Hmm.
And I believe he was a top 5 pick or something in
Hmm.
the OHL,
Really.
or wherever he played junior.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, 22 years old. I mean, you can't give up on the kid for sure.
No. No.
So once again, you get him into a system like
Hmm.
the Colorado Avalanche. the Colorado Eagles
Yep.
are a great AHL team, run very well, kind of
Mhm.
like a Wilkes-Barre Scranton type business where it's like, this is the pros. It's the AHL, but
Mhm.
it's the pros. And you're going to be treated like a pro and you're going to have everything uh, at your disposal.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure that's it for the Colorado Avalanche. They don't
Mhm.
really have any free agents they need to sign.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, one quick name, just
yeah.
in their goaltending room. Uh, I don't know how to say his first name. Is it might be Justice Noonan, 23 years old, 6'4". I remember he was pretty highly touted a few years ago, right? Just going into the draft, and he might get an elevated role in net. With Francois and Georgiev, almost 30 years old. Francois is almost mid 30s. I think the Noonan's going to be really interesting for the Avs here
Yeah,
in the future.
he's they got three minor league goaltenders
Hmm.
too.
Right.
So a little crowded, maybe they bump him up.
Yeah.
Francouz has been a little bit of a band-aid.
Hmm.
Uh,
Exactly.
he's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe get him up there,
Hmm.
just get a couple games, have him as nice depth.
Right. I agree.
And then so this will take us to the Dallas Stars. And honestly, I was telling you off cam,
Hmm.
I'm spooked by the Dallas Stars, really. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So I should have said the Colorado Avalanche. They're going to be pushing for a playoff spot. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're going to be probably a
Hmm.
top five, definitely top 10, probably a top five team in the league this season, no
Really.
doubt.
Okay.
Uh, and then now we're moving on to the Stars, and I mean,
Hmm.
you like you think of their Cinderella Cup run a
Hmm.
couple years ago in the
Yep.
bubble, and I get that the bubble is like fake for all intents and purposes, but
Hmm.
when you when you can rattle off wins like that,
Hmm.
it's a good sign. And now they've got the roster to where rattling off those types of wins is going to come almost naturally.
Right.
And so let's see here some additions. Well, Matt Duchene for one.
Hmm.
I don't know what the Preds were doing buying out.
Hmm. Yeah. Matt Duchene got bought out, but just to see him on that deal, uh, just a cheap deal. That's unbelievable for Matt Duchene. They also have Wyatt Johnston, just a young talent, 20 years old. He is going to be very good for them soon, or already in their top six. It's really great just to see their depth there. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, it's all
Yeah,
right. We're losing people left and right. All good.
yeah, yeah. Just went over some of the depth. Wyatt Johnson, he's a young talent.
Great breakout season.
Yeah, great season he had. He's probably looking to push just to be a staple on that top six because Tyler Sagan, Jamie Benn, they're falling off a bit here, man, and I don't see them contributing like they used to, you know, anymore. So it's going to be interesting for their depth, definitely.
No doubt.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so they got Craig Smith on a low deal,
Hmm.
one year, $1 million. They got Sam Steele,
Right.
850K. Ty Delandria, they did that for under a mil.
Hmm.
On the back end, you're probably going to look at Nils Lundqvist.
Hmm.
He was gotten in a trade with the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
He's gonna he's gonna take up a bigger role. I think he's a good shifty. offensively minded player. And
Yep.
then this one right here, this is a depth guy, but Gavin Bayreuther, he was on the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
And he, I think, is a mean son of a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
He's.
6'1", 195, nothing crazy,
Yep.
but I think he likes to play the body, if I remember correctly, and
Mm-hmm.
he will take your head off.
Yeah.
So
He's definitely. They have a pretty feisty back end here. Hakpana's still there. 6'6". Um, Miro Heiskanen, obviously, speed and skill. Lindell still there. Uh, I did not realize that Lindell is 29 years old. I would have thought that he's like 23, but
mm,
wow, he is 29. Lindell. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him in the near future here. Also,
he's a really good
yeah.
defensive guy,
Yeah, six
and
three.
he I don't think he does much in the way of offense, but
Right.
you need those guys.
hmm One concerning thing for the Stars, especially in their like playoff push and uh, their success, right, in the postseason, their goaltending depth is a little concerning, right? Obviously, they have Jake Ottinger. He's awesome, but he's been a little shaky recently, especially in the postseason there. But Scott Wedgwood, Blackhawks legend Dylan Wells, they brought in, 25 years old. So they might have to shore that up a bit. It'll be interesting, definitely.
Yeah, here, let me just
hmm
I'm gonna get you in, get you out really quick because you're
Yeah.
frozen on my screen.
Yeah.
I don't think that did anything. All right,
hmm
we can still keep it moving along here. I'm sure we can hear you, so that's all good.
hmm
Yeah, Hakanpää, big dude, mean, defensively minded. I think the Stars, their main thing when it comes to goaltending, I think Jake Ottinger is the real deal,
Yeah.
and I think the Blackhawks fumbled the bag trying to get
hmm
him
Yeah. A few
because
years ago. Yep.
they were primed. I heard an interview with him, and he said, "Yeah, I have a relationship with the Blackhawks goaltending coach, and I
hmm
really thought Chicago was going to take me. Dallas traded up.
hmm
We're not going to talk about it."
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, I think the Otter needs to take some games off.
hmm
I think the age of a goaltender playing all 82 games is completely out the window.
Yep.
And I think even a goaltender doing like 65 is a lot to ask for.
Oh yeah.
So I think they need a competent backup. Is that Scott Wedgwood?
hmm
Remains to be seen. The
Yeah.
wedge wall, I don't really think so, to be honest. I think he's good as a backup, but I don't think he's going to be playing 25, 30 games for you. And if he does, I think you're going to lose a lot of those games, unfortunately.
hmm Right.
So with all of those moves,
hmm
um, like I said, I think they're kind of spooky.
hmm
I think they're going to be top 10 for certain in the league.
Really.
Same thing with like the Colorado Avalanche.
hmm
You can never count the Avs out, and I
hmm
think the Stars are kind of getting into that mode right now. So
hmm
I think they're going to definitely be top 10. Um, I'll say 7 in the league, and then I would say
Oh wow.
the Avalanche will probably be like 5.
hmm Yeah. Definitely some improvements there, right? And yeah, we should see a jump from them. Yeah, definitely.
No doubt. So next, we're moving on. Minnesota Wild.
hmm
Uh, they are in trouble. As we were talking
Yep.
off camera a little bit, they've got almost $15 million these next 2 seasons in dead
Mhm.
cap from those buyouts of Suter and Parise.
Mhm.
As it stands right now, they've got 11 forwards, 5 defensemen, and 1 goaltender.
Mhm.
Um, so you need 12 forwards. That's 4 lines of 3, and you need 6 defensemen.
Mhm.
Obviously, 3 lines of 2. So they're missing a defenseman right now. It's Kalen Addison is the RFA.
Mhm.
He's 23 years old. I caught wind of him last season for fantasy hockey.
Mhm.
Uh, I was told that he was going to take a step and be like the power play guy,
Mhm.
and he was until that they got John Klingberg from the Anaheim Ducks,
Yeah.
and then they took Kalen Addison all off the power play. He was getting no power play time. That was his bread and butter. He was getting like somewhere along the lines of 60% of his points, I want to say,
Wow.
from the power play. So he was a power play specialist, and they took him off it. So now he feels a little slighted by the team,
Mhm.
which makes sense. And also, I think he's a good player. So I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't think they'll be able to afford him. Uh,
Yeah.
they're also going to be losing Matt Dumba on the back end,
Yep. Mhm.
one of the better hitters in the league. Uh,
Mhm.
he'll really go for it and commit to the hit.
Yeah.
But he won't
Especially
take.
for like a smaller guy, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Under 6 feet, I want to say. I want to say he's about 5'10",
Mhm.
but he never gets himself out of position, so he doesn't dive, which I think is respectable
Mhm.
and amicable.
Uh,
The Marc-Andre Fleury
right.
goaltender right now,
Right.
love that guy. Uh, Great player,
Mhm.
good person. And then they got their RFA Philip Gustafson, who they got in a trade with San Jose where they sent Capo Kakinen over that way. And
Mhm.
that trade is looking really bad
Yep.
for San Jose because Phil Gustafson is he's the real deal, plain and simple. Great
Yeah.
young goaltender.
Yeah, he really helped, with their, push towards the end of the season there, and, uh, yeah, he can be a quality starter, right? At 25 years old, this is his chance, right? To be that quality starter, and I think he can.
For sure.
Gustafson, yeah.
So far, I think we got right now at the top. I think it's going to be Colorado, number
Mhm.
1 in the Central, and I'm going to go Dallas, number 2, and
Mhm.
then 3. Well, we'll probably get to them. I'm going to
Mhm.
have the Minnesota Wild at probably. So I'll have the Coyotes at 7, and then I'll
Mhm.
probably have the Wild at 6,
Yeah.
and then Hawks are probably going to be 8. I'm
Mhm.
thinking.
Yeah.
Uh, Bottom of the Central, not necessarily bottom of the league.
Mhm. Right.
Um, so yeah, so I'll have these guys at 6 in the
Mhm.
Central. Minnesota Wild, they still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. I agree.
Um, Patrick Maroon, they got him. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Little
Maroon's
late
there. They
late
still have
trade.
Spurgeon, you know?
Yeah, Spurgeon, great,
Mhm.
really good defenseman.
Yeah, just it's a weird looking team, right? Like they still have Foligno there, Marcus Johansson's still there, but you know what? They have some young talent. Marco Rossi, Matt Bodie's awesome. They
Oh,
are,
love Matt. I had him on
yeah,
my fantasy team last year as well.
yeah, yeah.
He
They have some
performed.
size and speed, you know.
Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. And Blackhawks legend Ryan Hartman.
Yep, yep. He's dealt with some injuries recently, right? But
Yeah.
he's a quality player when he's out there.
Yeah,
Um,
high ankle, I believe he got
yep.
in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Quality player though. He had that like I called it his flu game.
Hmm.
He was playing on half a leg and he was performing. He was scoring and he was all in.
Hmm.
Love it.
Right.
So 6 for Minnesota Wild, and now we
Mm-hmm.
got the Nashville Predators. They made a lot of questionable moves, as we had stated
Mm-hmm.
before.
Right.
Buying out Matt Duchene, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Retaining half on Ryan Johansson,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get it. They brought in Ryan O'Reilly. That's awesome. They brought in Gus Nyquist. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, they
Yeah.
got Dennis Gurianov from
Mm-hmm.
Montreal
Mm-hmm.
and formerly of the Dallas Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. Anyone? Nothing.
Tyson Berry
Oh,
is
nice. Yes,
here.
they got him in
Yeah.
that trade, the Ekholm trade.
Right. Cal Foot, 6'5", 24 years old. That's a decent depth guy to have on the
Yeah,
back
I
end
think he's
there.
actually a free agent, I want to say.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I actually wouldn't mind him as an option maybe for the Blackhawks. Right
Mm-hmm.
side, seventh defenseman, big guy.
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they've got
Still young.
Blackhawks legend. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
24, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Young kid. Kevin Lankinen backing up UC Saros.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Shen they got on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
And
McDonough, he's getting a little old, but we'll
he
see
still
what they
does
can
his
give him.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I still think he's still got it a little bit.
Yeah.
He'll definitely eat pucks. He eats those breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Right.
and he provides a leadership to the core that I think will really, really help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I might have to switch Minnesota and Nashville. I think I might
Really.
take Minnesota up to 5
Mm-hmm.
and Nashville to 6. I'm
Yeah.
not seeing a lot in this forward group that's given me a lot of hope for
No, I
them.
don't.
Um, I realized Tommy Novak, Tommy Skorvac,
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of, made himself, uh, known, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he popped off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, I'm not. That might be a fluke. I'd have to check his shooting percentage and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just had an elevated shooting percentage where he's potting 25% plus of his shots.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're talking Philip Tomasino, Juuso Parssinen. I
Yep.
mean, who are these guys? you
Right.
know.
And
So
Nyquist is like mid 30s, and
yeah,
he's having
33.
trouble staying healthy.
Yep.
You know, I could really see a dip with them. Something like the Blue Jackets last year, where the age just catches up to them, right? And maybe they drop to bottom 2 or 3 in the division, right? And uh, I don't see a lot of promise or potential here with Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, like your best forward is Ryan O'Reilly,
Yeah.
and he's 32.
Yep. Yep. It's either Phil Forsberg or O'Reilly, really, for their contributions, right?
Right. Oh yeah, he's on IR. That's why I didn't see him.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Phil Forsberg. That's my fault.
Mhm.
So yeah, Phil Forsberg is their best one, and he's injured right now. You
Mhm.
got Roman Yossi on the back end. He's a respectable player.
Mhm.
Just won the Norris, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Or yeah, and UC Saros is a generational. He's a great goalie.
Yeah. For his size, right? He's like
He's
five
super athletic.
eleven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he might be shorter than that. I'm gonna check.
Yeah. He was definitely under 6 foot. It might have been five.
Oh, he is 5'11". The
Right.
way people talk about him, it seems like he's like 5'9".
Really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not the case. So yeah, I'm gonna say they're gonna be 6,
Okay.
6.
Okay. Yeah.
Blackhawks 8,
Mhm.
Coyotes 7,
Mhm.
Preds 6,
6. Okay.
and then Minnesota 5.
Mhm.
And this brings us to the next one, St. Louis Blues. They're
Yep.
doing a little retool on the fly. 3 first-round picks in this previous draft.
Mhm.
Uh, lots of uh, lots of roster turnover. like I
Mhm.
said, retooling on the fly. So
Mhm.
they got Jacob Verana, Kasperi Kapanen, Kevin
Mhm.
Hayes, and
Brandon Saad is still hanging around, and he's only 30 years old.
only 30
I mean,
years
look at
old.
that! Wow, 30 years
Wow.
old, Brandon Saad.
And he's been here and back again. He
Yeah,
has been around the league.
right. Sammy Blais still there. Buchnevich, quality top sixer. He could play center, wing. He could do it all. Two-way
I
guy.
I'm a huge fan of Pavel Buchnevich.
Right.
I've had him in my fantasy league both
Mhm.
years, and I am very happy with his performance.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I I think going out and grabbing Kevin Hayes is a bit of a head scratcher.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
I
Right.
I mean, he was making I want to say like $7.5 million.
Yeah. It was steep. Yep.
And it looks like 7 because I believe, the Flyers did retain 50%.
Right. Mhm.
And then they were gonna get Travis Sanheim as well, but Torrey
Mhm.
Krug was gonna go the other way, and he refused to, uh, waive his no trade clause, which is completely his his doing, you know?
Mhm.
It's his option. The GM gave him that. He
Mhm.
exercised that right. He's staying in St. Louis.
Mhm.
And I think he just had like he's got a young family, and I think he just had a kid. So good thing he's staying over there. So
Yeah.
their back end, 8 defensemen, 13 forwards, 2 goalies, Justin Falk, Torrey Krug, Colton Parayko, Nick Leddy, Marco Scandella, Robert Bortuzzo, Bobby Bortuz. He is
Mhm.
still kicking. That's crazy.
Yeah.
34 years old, one more year at 950,000. That
Mhm.
dude, I do not like that dude. He's a scum. He's a
Right.
scumbag.
And he's been around forever, man.
Yeah.
Blackhawks legend Wyatt Kalynuk, Kalynuk,
Yes.
26 years old.
I
He's
forgot about that.
Yeah, he's found his way over to St. Louis somehow, but um,
Yeah, he'll probably be playing in Springfield, Massachusetts for the Springfield Falcons.
right. Uh, hey, two names that are, they sort of just took like a flyer on, right? Jakub Verana, right? He got pushed out of where was it? The Capitals,
Capitals, yeah,
right?
he was I believe actually this they got him from the Red Wings. So I think they
Yep,
sent him
yep. From
so
from the
he was
Wings.
yeah, he was on the Caps, then he went to the Wings, and then
Mm-hmm.
he entered the player assistance program,
Right,
and
right.
then he came back and he was doing some stuff in Grand Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sent that back, and then he went to
Waivers.
we have waiver claim,
Mm-hmm.
and
And he played,
that's awesome.
yeah, and he played pretty well for them. Towards the end there, when they brought him in. Verana and Kasperi Kapanen, also younger
Also a
player,
waiver
like
claim.
yeah, 26 years old.
Wow, he's only 26.
Right. I mean,
I
they have
remember him on the Leafs, dude.
yeah, and they have those two guys that are just it's like a low risk, right, and a high reward. Verana Kapanen, uh, speed and skill, both guys. Yeah,
No
it's
doubt,
interesting.
no doubt.
Hmm.
Um, now so they're probably going to be. I think they're good,
Hmm.
but I'll say because I think their goaltending is a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah.
Jordan
Right.
Binnington is just a madman, and then
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
Joel Hofer he's a really good prospect, but I don't
Hmm.
necessarily know if
If he was
he's
NHL ready.
exactly.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, he's 22 years old, dude.
Right.
You know, it's the NHL. We've said it time and time again. The
Hmm.
NHL is in the developmental league, but he's been tearing it up in the AHL.
Right.
And
Hmm. And they had
Thomas
Thomas
Greiss was
Grice.
there.
Yeah,
Right, and he retired.
and he just retired. An interesting name again for like any um needy teams, right? That need a goaltender. I mean, what's going on with Alex Stalock, right? I mean, if you're betting on his health, it might not be a great bet, right? But he is a quality starter when he's full go. I expect him to be signed soon.
No
Um,
doubt. Someone has
yeah,
to give him a shot. Someone they have to.
right.
He performed well when he was healthy. He
Hmm.
had that eye thing, which I really think is a complete fluke,
Yeah,
to be
right, right.
honest, you know? Like,
Hmm.
so I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna
Hmm.
put these guys at, I'll put them at, oh, this is tough. I'm gonna put them at 4,
Okay, okay. I can see that. Four. Yeah.
and then that'll leave the Winnipeg Jets at 3 because, and only because,
Hmm.
Connor Hellebuyck,
It.
goaltending diff
Yeah.
for me.
Right. If he's still there, right?
If he's still there, which I think the addition, so we'll just move on. So St. Louis Blues 4 overall in the
Hmm.
Central. Goodbye, good riddance.
Hmm.
Don't like ya.
Right.
So the Winnipeg Jets, tons of turnover here.
Hmm.
They're also kind of in a rebuild on the fly type
Yeah.
business.
Hmm.
So they got rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's been requesting a trade ever since he signed a contract.
Right.
Um, and they got 3 quality players for him. So Gabe Vilardi,
Hmm.
Rasmus Kupari, and Alex Iafallo.
Yep. Hmm.
Alex Iafallo, good winger, 29 years old.
Yep.
He's been in the league a little bit.
Hmm.
Rasmus Kupari, uh, forward, can play all center, left wing, and right wing.
Hmm.
23 years old. He's an RFA. They haven't signed him yet,
Hmm.
but he's really good defensively. I don't think he might still have some offense to give. 23 years old. You can't give up on him. That you can't nail
Hmm.
anything down on him. And Gabe Vilardi, sick mitts.
Hmm.
There, if you go ahead and watch those that Oilers Kings series,
Hmm.
Vilardi made some plays that I have seldom seen
Oh
players
yeah.
make. He's got silky, silky mitts.
Hmm.
Really skilled player, great shot, good in and around the net to bury those rebounds.
Yeah. And with his handle, right? I mean, he's 6'3", 200 pounds, right-handed, 23 years old, man, 23. And that could be one of those pieces in that trade, right? That he could really pop off um,
I
i-
concur.
in a bigger role, right? With the Jets here, that's an interesting player to watch here with down in center, center position. Yeah.
No Blake Wheeler, got stripped of the captaincy, and then he just
Hmm.
out the door. Went to
Right.
the New York Rangers on a prove it deal, $800,000.
Hmm.
Nikolai Ehlers, I don't really think. So the coach Bones, Rick Bowness,
Hmm.
he's a bit of a defensive minded coach.
Yeah.
I don't think he lets players uh, play with the puck too much.
Hmm.
And I think Nikolai Ehlers was affected by that a lot. I think he has a lot of skill that still has to be unlocked. 27 years old, so pretty young.
Hmm.
And I just think the bonus needs to let him go a little bit more for them to be
Hmm.
really, really successful. And then, so they've got 11 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies. Laurent
Hmm.
Brossoit, which I found pretty interesting, coming back from the Vegas Golden
Yep.
Knights to back up Connor Hellebuyck. Cole Perfetti injured at the moment. Look for him to be a nice skilled winger,
Hmm. Right.
um, up in that middle top 6.
Hmm.
Um, they've got some guys on the cusp. Probably looking like a Brad Lambert, a Chaz
Hmm.
Lucius, and Ville Heinola is still there.
Right.
I feel like they're keeping him in prison almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, look at that. Blackhawks legend Colin Delia.
Yeah. Colin Delia, signing with the
Manitoba
Winnipeg
Moose.
Jets here. Yeah.
Yeah. So that leaves them at the 3 spot, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um, like
Yeah.
I said, goaltending diff between
Mhm,
them and the St. Louis Blues, 'cause
mhm,
with the addition of those 3 players from that, Pierre-Luc Dubois trade, I
mhm,
think I think they're looking to compete now, not
mhm.
just, you know, kind of tread water there.
Right. And with those new additions, right? I mean, I could see them dropping to like 5 or because of that skill that they already have, right? Like Neil Pionk, Josh Morrissey on the back end, and then they brought in Velarde, Iafallo, right? Just adding to Kyle Connor, Ehlers, I mean that's quality talent. I mean, that is real quality talent that could push them in that top 4 there, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so just to wrap up of what we said, we said, well, at least I said,
Mhm,
Colorado Avalanche number 1, Dallas Stars number 2, Winnipeg Jets number 3, St. Louis Blues number 4.
mhm.
Uh, who am I missing?
Let's see,
Number 5 would have
Blues,
been, um, wow, I'm just completely blanking.
Wild,
Wild,
right, 6, let's see, Nashville Predators,
Wild, Preds, Coyotes, Blackhawks.
mhm, yeah, and with the bottom, we could see the Hawks or Coyotes, you know, anyone could jump up,
Interchangeable for sure.
right,
And
right,
you maybe even, I don't think the Wild are gonna let it get that bad, but they could even slip,
mhm,
And,
right, right,
maybe some of these guys in Winnipeg don't really pan out, or
mhm,
maybe they do decide
yeah,
to, since they're getting a great deal for Hellebuck, maybe they trade Hellebuck, and then that goaltending
possibly,
differential, goes
mhm,
away, and then they drop who knows?
right,
But,
exactly,
I'm really looking forward to this season. This is a long
mhm,
one for you guys,
mhm,
but, we went over the Central, and, I'm just really looking forward. Conor Bedard signs that contract. Super, super
mhm,
exciting stuff, and, I think that's gonna do it for us here at the, Chicago Blackhawks Hockey Central podcast. I'm Joe Vitali, and that's Skokes. You guys have a great day. It was Monday, so let's have a
mhm,
good week out there.
yep.
Let's go Hawks Bedard season.